Okay, let's say you own a 98 through a 02 Honda Accord like me, and your dash lights suddenly stop working. This video is going to show you how to do a little workaround, and I'm going to explain why they quit working. Most of the times you see this complaint after somebody has put in an aftermarket stereo and they hook the Illumination wire up to the stereo. And as it turns out, after all these people have done this and lost their dash lights, you're not supposed to do that. So if you have an aftermarket stereo in one of these cars, you do not hook the Illumination dimmer, I think it's called dimmer, you don't hook that up, because what happens is these cars have things called multiplexers in the electronic control system, and one of these multiplexer units controls the dash lights, and what happens is when you do that, it blows that thing up, and it's located over here inside the fuse box compartment. You see that thing back in there? Got a writing on it that may have been replaced already, but anyways, behind the fuse box over here. In other words, it's a pain to get to and it's a pain to replace. And I think if you let me get this back in here. If you go to buy one, they're not cheap, like $100 plus. So the symptom is that you do all this, and then all of a sudden you don't have any more dash lights. The odometer light will work when the lights are off. The clock and illumination light still works as long as the lights are off, but when you turn the lights on over here, all that goes away. So it's not a fuse. You may have blown a fuse, but more often than not you're going to blow the multiplexer out. And so the good news is on this is that you can do a free workaround, and what you do is you have to pull the cluster out, sit down there. You've got a binnacle, what I call a binnacle. Some people call it incorrectly a bezel. It's called a bezel. This is the bezel, and it fits right in there. You got two screws at the top. You take them out. This thing just pulls straight out. Pulls straight out like this. Try not to break it. And then the instrument cluster is held in by a bolt there, and two along the top. I don't know if you can see them, but you'll see them when you get this thing out. So when you get it to that point, you got three plugs in here. Sorry for the camera work, but you got three plugs in here. Carefully unplug those. This is the one you want to deal with right here. Alright, what you do is you look on this plug here, and this is facing you. See, it's got that little finger tab right there. If you need to leave it still plugged into the cluster to make sure you're correct, that's fine. You can do that. I knew which one, so I just went ahead and took it out all the way, because I got to do something else to the cluster anyway. But the wires you're going to be concerned with, you're going to take this wire, which is in the left front corner, and you're going to take this wire, which is a red and white wire, which is in the left front corner of this side over here. Look at this very carefully. See where they go. I know there's a black wire kind of in the way, but that's, let me see if I can move that over there. You see where that wire goes in. Left front corner on both of them. This one and this one. Up there where my finger's pointing, right there, left front. Not any of the other ones, not the rear ones. So what you're going to do is, you're going to, this is a ground circuit, and you're going to do what I'm in the process of doing. You're going to strip the insulation off those two wires adjacent to each other, and then you're going to make a jumper like I have, and you're going to jump those two wires with this piece of wire. And if you want to do a good job, you're going to solder it when you're done, and then you're going to tape it up with electrical tape or shrink wrap or whatever works best for you, but you can make sure you have it well insulated. You don't want shorts, and don't use a paper clip. I know there's videos that show you can use a paper clip. Don't do that. I recommend not doing that. Make sure you carefully insulate, connect, insulate, connect, connect, insulate. You don't want this thing grounding out, even if it is a ground circuit. Okay, so you've done that, and the only downside to this is that your dimmer on the cluster over there, the little thing you turn to dim the dash lights up and down, ain't gonna work no more. it's going to be on full on all the time. But that doesn't bother me at all, because these dash lights are on the dim side anyway, if you ask me. So that's perfectly fine with me. That keeps me from having to dig that thing out, take 2, 3, 4 hours to get it out, go get one, put it back in. So I'm not going to do that, not on a car this old. So that would that'll fix your dash lights. And like I said, you know, be sure that you're okay with doing wiring. You know what you're doing. If you need to get somebody to help you that's better at wiring, that's fine. I'd recommend that. But this is a simple workaround to get these dash lights working. And once again, let me remind you that usually this happens right after putting a stereo in at some point. It's a common thing to have happen. So don't do this. Don't do this repair until you get that dimmer or illumination wire out of your aftermarket stereo. You need to take your stereo out and disconnect that and wrap it up and tape it up and get it out of the equation. Now, I know you're looking at this and you're saying, well, you don't have an aftermarket stereo. Why'd yours go out? Well, I did something kind of dumb. I didn't know any better. I bought a hazard light switch from the junkyard, and you can see this one is kind of faded. A little mark on it. It's supposed to be red. It's kind of faded out. It's not very red. And so I was going to just replace that when I found one that was nice and red looking and very nice and all that. So what happened is I didn't know. You know how things go when you don't know something innocently. Don't know it. That the 98, 99, 2000 hazard switch is one piece, and the 2001, 2002 is another, and they don't interchange. So when I plugged that in and pushed it, some lights came on over here that shouldn't have come on briefly, and so I immediately turned it right back off again and took that thing out and put the other one back in. So everything works, except guess what? I don't have any dash lights. So I did a little bit of research, and there's some good videos on, you know, and some good sources of information on the internet. But I thought I would kind of do this one to kind of complement that one that's out there. And like I said, you need to do this at your own risk. I don't endorse doing this. I don't take any responsibility for any kind of damages that may happen if you do this. This is just only the option for you. You need to do it at your own risk. So I do not, I do not guarantee this will work. I do not guarantee that it will not damage your car somehow, possibly. It's been shown in other places to work fine. So just like I said, be sure you're careful with your wiring. And if you have any problems at all, then you need to not do this. You need to just go ahead and get the multiplexer and have it replaced, or replace it yourself. But this may give those of you who are mechanically inclined an option to fix this, so that you no longer have to go around with a flashlight. Well, there's the phone, guys, so I gotta go, and I'll talk to you soon.